Basement, level vibes with another one, straight up, blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention, education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and pon the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Wakenham, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cop, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
You could probably, on the maritime area, give Venezuela a channel out to the sea. So you make a slight concession in the maritime area.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night. This
I must suffer them to take what I don't want to eat to myself. That is totally wrong.
What?
And the parents got to stand up.
Rhonda, really thank you for taking time out. I'm not going to let you go now. I know you're a very brave person. You're out there in front of GCOM. We're not seeing a lot of people out there, but give us an update on the protests every week in front of GCOM.
Tuesday we had 8 persons. Literally.
One second, Rhonda. I kind of like, honestly, I like that laugh. I'm going to rephrase, I'm going to ask the question again. And
Make me laugh, man.
all right, Rhonda Lane there for you guys. Good night to all of you. It's Monday. We're going to rock and roll right here on 107.1 FM, the station that you all like, right? Some of you tuned in. We can see who you are. And some of you peep. That's okay. It happens. Some of you peep. Good night, Shondell Griffith. Shondell Griffith is not peeping. She doesn't peep. Good night to all of you. But they get some peepers, right? Oh, by the way, I'm late because I didn't get a passage, so I had to go and borrow some money. Right? I have to go and borrow some money to get here. Oh gosh, some folks are so ridiculous. Some of them want to go in the trenches, but they don't know what it's like to be in the trench. Trust me, they don't know what it's like to be in the trench. Good night to all of you. What are we going to start off with tonight? What do you guys want us to start off with this evening? You know, I saw something, and Jack Deal. I want to touch on a bunch of stuff tonight, mind you, right? A bunch of stuff. And I have never seen this sort of dotish politics, silliness on the part of the opposition. There have been silliness in the past, but this is beyond, man. Something isn't right somewhere. But we'll touch on that. But let's focus on the real thing now. You know, this is what we have to focus on. Take a look at this guy. Tell me how much you guys would love and appreciate something like this. Look at what's happening there. This is what we have to focus on, right? But it's a set of jiggery pokery, a set of nonsense, a set of individuals. Some of them you haven't even seen. You don't even know where they were before. But yet some of these people feel that they have the authority. They could jump on and they could cuss out people who have been in the struggle. Real struggle I'm talking about. People who have been in the trenches. People who have sacrificed. So many sacrifices that were made. Right? So many sacrifices. And so some of them feel that they could just pop up on Facebook because they got a Facebook page and they could cuss out this body and they could cuss out that body who got to go and bathe. You know, I've heard somebody say Lincoln Lewis got to go and bathe. He doesn't bathe. He doesn't. Where these people jump out from, man? Seriously, where the heck these people jump out from? That gave them that right to feel that they could cuss out fighters. They can't do it. Some of them can't even show their faces. They can't show their faces just like me. You guys see me, right? Yeah, you guys see my face. You guys can see me, right? Good. Let them put their photographs. Let them show their faces. Let them cuss out. But they can't do it. They hide behind a keyboard and they cuss out and this and that. And the cussing out coming from all over, mind you. But some of them are vicious. It's like they don't think before they put stuff out. They just don't think. And when they do these sort of things across the board, mind you, when they do these sort of things, who you think they don't help the person that they claim they support? They don't help because a lot of people are laughing. That's what it is. How the heck are you going to tell me something like this? That you are going to look at somebody like Lincoln Lewis, right? Now, Lincoln is not perfect, but you're going to jump and you're going to say Lincoln Lewis got bad, he don't bad, and where these people come out from? Who are they representing? What sort of party they feel that they're fighting for? that people who have made sacrifices over the years stood up against an oppressive regime at a time when people were afraid to speak out. Some of them, because of a little access to a Facebook page, want to, now look, if you disagree with me, fair enough, attack me constructively, and I will respond constructively. But if you attack me by going in the trench and the gutter, I go in there with you too. I'm just saying it, I'm going there with you too. But when you have guys like Lincoln Lewis, who have put their lives, put me aside, we're talking about folks who have put their lives on the line for decades now, and people are just going to totally disregard and disrespect those individuals and say who got a bid and who got it this and who got it. You know, I've never seen this trashy politics. I have never seen this trashy politics, gutter politics. And if it doesn't stop, the likelihood of it getting out of hand is very, very high. That's all I wish to say. All right. Hey, what else is happening in your neck of the woods? Let me say goodnight to all of you, because we have bigger fishes to fry, and that is Jack Dale and the goons in the PPP regime. Jack Dale and the goons in the PPP regime. Sorry, I repeat, Jack Dale and the goons in the PPP regime. Oh, that's Vanessa Kisson, and that's me many years back. She's under attack. Everybody seemed to be under attack. But I have seen some things uttered about Vanessa Kisson, who put her life on the line for the people of Linden and by extension, the people of Guyana. The evidence is quite clear. And you can't have some people who just pop up overnight. God in heaven knows where they pop up from, right? Again, it is okay to represent your party. It is okay to represent a candidate. And the cussing and the abusing out on all sides have got to stop. If it doesn't stop now, it's going to get worse. If it doesn't stop now, guys, it's going to get worse. It's just, and when it gets worse, guess who benefits? Not the ones who just while just put out whatever and all manner of things. If there is anything that needs to be touched on, it should be done in a constructive way. And the manner in which that those individuals, some of whom they know themselves, all across the board I'm talking about, they know themselves. To disrespect Vanessa Kisson in this manner is unacceptable. And 99% of them can't even be as brave as this woman. I don't know what she has done. I don't know what she has done. I don't know what she has done. And don't tell me about Eglin Gomes. He's not my cup of tea. I don't know what he puts on Facebook. I don't read. I don't watch. Simple as that. But it has to stop across the board. It has got to stop. Otherwise, can't eat all of y'all dinner. All of y'all dinner. But the assault and disrespect on Vanessa Kisson, the vulgarity towards her has got to stop. I know of these people. I've been in the struggle with these people when most of you guys didn't even want to show up in Guyana, didn't even want to say a word in Guyana, couldn't even say anything. But there were people who put their lives on the line. And people who continue to put their lives on the line. Now, if you agree or disagree with people, or especially in the case when if you disagree with somebody's politics, it is okay. And again, across the board, it has got to stop. Somehow or the other, it has got to stop. I don't know. Let me check some of your comments. Let me check some of your comments. It has got to stop. And when folks go out there and say all of these sort of things, they're not, they in fact, when they cuss up and they go on like that, they're not doing the person that they support any justice at all. They're not doing the person, I repeat, they're not doing the person that they support any justice at all. None whatsoever. If there are those who support Roysdale Ford, if they cuss out and they go on, they are not doing Roysdale any justice. If there are those who support Amanza Walton Desir and they cuss up and all these sort of things, it does no justice. If there are those who support Aubrey Norton and they go out and cuss up and go on, and they're not doing Aubrey Norton any justice either. So at some point in time, it has got to stop. And some may think that the cybercrime is not applied in the US. Some may think that off the top of their head, they could just write and type dotishness. And again, I'm speaking across the board, dotishness. And some feel that because they don't have a photograph, that they cannot be traced, whether they're in New Jersey or wherever they are, via their IP address. They think they cannot be traced. Hi, St. Jones. Again, don't tell me what to tell. What's his name? Gomes. Gomes is not my kettle of fish. He's not my cup of tea. And his bumps raised and blocked me a while now on Facebook because his bumps raised. So I don't know what he writes or what he posts unless somebody sends a screenshot. Simple as that. But what I saw concerning Vanessa Kisson is unacceptable. Unacceptable. And the mayor of Georgetown, of Linden, sorry. The mayor of Linden. It is unacceptable across the board, I'm saying. Across the board, it is unacceptable. It has got to stop. And if this fight continues like that, well, y'all know what's going to happen, right? Hi, St. Jones. I don't want to know who started what or who what. There's no guilty party there's no innocent party in this here, right? And who start what and who in start what. But hopefully we'll have the candidates on to deal with issues. All of the candidates to deal with issues. That's what we want to deal with. We want to deal with issues. Tomorrow evening, hopefully, we'll have Miss Amanza Walton Desir. Hopefully, we'll have her on. But we want the candidates, and again, I repeat, to deal with issues. Right now, the PPP back is against the wall. Their back is against the wall. Jack Dale is trembling right now. He knows that the PPP regime is an installed government. They have been installed. They didn't win any elections. They were installed. Why do you think he went on rambling at his press conference about the very thing? The PPP is an installed regime. That is what it is. What else is happening in your neck of the woods? Talk to us, please. Tell us what else is happening. What's happening in your neck of the wood? How was your weekend? How was your Father's Day? Talk to us. We want to hear from you guys. All right, I'm just reading some of your comments. I noticed Lemon sent this photograph. Take a look at this photograph. This is I believe this is in Brooklyn many years ago, and I am the one who took this photograph with all of them. You guys know these guys. Nigel Hughes, Vanessa Kisson, Sharma Solomon, Aubrey Norton, Take a look at the photograph. This was during the Linden time that the PPP, under the PPP regime, under the PPP regime, under the PPP regime, under the PPP regime, people were standing up and they were fighting for a better Guyana. Fighting for a better Guyana. There were just a few people. And you know what gets me angry is when fighters, and I know who those handful of fighters are. I know who those handful of fighters are. That when certain folks who you've never heard of, never seen in a struggle, nothing, could disrespect fighters. I might not agree with all of the fighters, everything or whatever, but I respect their bravery. That is what I respect. At a time when people were being slaughtered left, right, and center by a corrupt PPP regime, I'm not going to sit down and allow any disrespect of people who put their lives on the line. And what some of those individuals, some might be peeping, they know who they are. Classless to go after Vanessa Kisson in that manner. They dare not. They won't go after Priya Manikchan like that. They won't go after anybody like that, but they feel comfortable going after Vanessa Kisson like that. They feel comfortable with that. It is unacceptable, and all of you have to fight back against that. Have to fight back against it. And should not tolerate anyone, regardless of who they support, anyone with this sort of nonsense. It has got to stop. One way or the other, it has got to stop. Now, Deborah Sharona Lynch is asking me, of all person, is asking me if I know of young ladies who got pregnant for the big ones in the army. I saw a report, I saw allegations, I saw some breaking news, but you know, one of the things that I like doing is to ensure that the stories are verified, properly verified. Now, sometimes we got to look at the breaking news via WhatsApp and breaking news and so forth and so on. But I have not seen the story, where I want to see the story. But all I have seen is some WhatsApp information of that. So getting pregnant, I don't know. I don't know about that, but by tomorrow we should get some more information. Thank you so much, though, Deborah. I appreciate that. I did see it, and I'm looking for verification, so to speak, reliable sources, so to speak. So that's what it is all about. I notice some comments. Deborah Archer saying, "Let's get the truth, not beat up the messenger or alleged victim." Not beat up the messenger or alleged victim. The truth is what is needed. The truth indeed is what is needed. Thank you so much, Miss Archer. The truth is what is needed. Brenda Casey, good night to you, ma'am. Brenda is saying that it was on Burke. Said something on it. It's okay. And then I got a word from a senior Army officer who just messaged me here to say that it has been verified and confirmed. Thank you, sir. It has been verified and confirmed. It has been, and this is a senior officer of the Guyana Defense Force. A senior officer of the Guyana Defense Force is saying that it has been verified. It has. And it says The report is GDF rocked by scandals and investigations. Several female recruits at Tacoma, military school allegedly turned up pregnant during the basic recruits training course. They turned up pregnant. I don't know how many of them turned up pregnant. I don't know how they got pregnant. But the allegation is that they got pregnant by senior officers of the Guyana Defense Force. We're hearing that a colonel, a captain, a lieutenant, a warrant officer, sergeants, and other ranks are among those under investigation. And now we need to hear from the Guyana Defense Force concerning this serious allegations. Serious allegations, mind you. Very serious allegations. And this is not nice at all. So while this was happening, while Irfan Ali was doing that, pushing stuff in these guys' mouth, the young recruits had to have undergone some sort of maybe sexual harassment. Maybe they were raped. I don't know. So the head of the military, the Guyana Defense Force Chief of Staff, will have to answer these allegations. He will have to answer these allegations about the female recruits turning up pregnant. And we will see where that goes. This investigation, if it is accurate and according to the senior rank of the Guyana Defense Force, it has been confirmed. So we need to get to the bottom of this situation. They have lots of other situations, lots of other things happening that we need to get to the bottom. We need to hear from Hicken, his association with a murder suspect by the name of Mark Richmond. At the time, according to what the Dion Bascom, the police sergeant, said, is that there was a cover-up with regards to the investigations concerning the murder of Paper Shorts. There was a cover-up. The acting commissioner of police, who is said to be somewhere in the U.S. Virgin Islands, he ensured that he showed his photograph, that he's there to show you guys that his visa, his U.S. visa, is still intact. Now, someone messaged me and said, look, he's showing up that he got his visa is intact. And I did say to the individual, these guys can still get their visas revoked and they can still travel. They can apply for an in-transit visa, or they can apply for a specific entry into the U.S. If, in the case of this guy, he is going on a work-related trip or a meeting, then even though they may have their visas revoked, it doesn't mean that they wouldn't be granted a one-time entry permit. And maybe this is the case with Clifton Hicken. Maybe this is the case. Many of you recall that a sitting commissioner of police, several sitting commissioners of police have had their visas revoked under the PPP regime. Henry Green, you guys remember him. Henry Green got his visa or visas revoked. Floyd McDonald, who took over and acted after Larry Lewis demitted office, got his visas revoked. We are hearing also that this guy, the acting commissioner of police, got his visa revoked as well. That is what we're hearing. It is up to him to say whether his visa was revoked. It is up to the other senior police officers of the Guyana Defense Force to say whether their visas were revoked or not. It is up to the commander of Region 1 to say whether his visa was revoked or not. It is up to the crime chief to say whether his visa was revoked or not. Thank you, Letitia Monzi. Floyd McDonald, that is true. Floyd McDonald visa was revoked. It is the first time in history that we are hearing that their scores of PPP officials have had recently their visas revoked. Bharat Jagdeo, we know for certain, is afraid to come to the United States of America. Can somebody speculate as to why Bharat Jagdeo is afraid to visit the United States of America? Why is Bharat Jagdeo so afraid to visit the United States of America? Can somebody say why? There's scores of ministers in the PPP, the installed PPP regime, are afraid to visit the United States of America. Senior police officers of the Guyana Police Force are afraid to travel to the United States of America. Have you guys noticed, though, that the senior CID officer, Caesar has not explained why? I'm not saying he has to publicly explain, but he was pulled in on several occasions for secondary questioning by law enforcement officers of the United States of America. And now law enforcement officers are not going to pull you into gaff or to, man, look, let me take a little burger, right? Or let's take a little coffee or whatever, right? It's serious business. And what Caesar has to say to the public is whether his visa was also revoked. They got to come out and say these things. But, they're not going to want to touch it. They want to give you guys the impression, or us the impression, that all is hunky-dory. Now let's get back to this Jagabat Bharat Jagdeo. Bharat Jagdeo is very touchy. His bumps usually raises quite often, and for obvious reasons, his bumps raise. So at his so-called press conference, I don't know if you guys want to call that a press conference or whatever, he said, obviously being upset that people are exposing them for being installed. He doesn't want to be told that the PPP is an installed regime. They have been installed. They didn't win any elections. In fact, they lost the elections. And the people who have installed them have regrets that they have installed them. And so Bharat Jagdeo bumps raise. He gets annoyed when you say that they have been installed because there was a regime change, not through the ballot boxes, but there was a regime change by foreign forces. That is what happened. And Jagdeo knows that. And the possibility is quite high that if those who have the power to install you can uninstall you, and Jagdeo knows that there is a high possibility that karma next elections. So that is why he's running and barking at everyone. Last Saturday, I believe, when Wayne Caesar was on and Over to You, we spoke about this young lady. She's a lawyer, a brilliant lawyer by the name of Amber Stewart. Amber wrote an article in the Chicago International Law Review Journal. And Jagdeo is upset because what this young lawyer wrote about was basically that there was elections interference. That's all she said, elections interference. And 4 years after, Jagdeo, they're fighting for equal time. Gil Teixeira can't class herself with this young lawyer. Randy Prasad can't class himself with this young lawyer. Neither does Jagdeo or even Irfan Ali. This is a highly intelligent young lawyer that actually, obviously, she made the bumps raised of all these people in the Guyana government because of her article. And in her article, she just basically wrote, she spoke about elections interference. And because of the quality of that law review, Chicago International Law Review, of which this young lady, Amber Stewart, was the editor-in-chief. She was the editor-in-chief. And so why do you guys suppose Jack Day went right after her? It is simple. He doesn't want to be exposed. He doesn't want, PPP do not want people to know that or to see the evidence that they were installed. They were installed and they could possibly be uninstalled. Story done. That is what could happen. And so this young lady, she has Guyanese roots. Her parents are Guyanese. Her mom is Guyanese. She has relatives in Guyana. And so during the course of elections, if she decided that she wants to take a peek as to see what's happening in the country of her parents and so forth, nothing is wrong with that. So kudos to this young lady. Hopefully sometime we will have her on this show. Kudos to her. It's not like she's unfamiliar with Guyana. It is not like she's unfamiliar. There she is with her family, Stabroek Market. She visited Guyana. She knows what is happening. So it's not like as though she sat being the editor-in-chief of the Chicago Law Review, International Law Review, and didn't know anything was happening. She was there. She understands what's happening. She knows the players. She knows them very well. Moving away now, let's touch on this. When was the last time you guys heard anything about the corruption? Anything about the corruption? I noticed Carl Miller is asking, what year was the mark? What year was the what? Right, Carl? What year was the? Let's stick to this year, Carl, for a moment. And let me welcome all of you. Michelle Jones and all the whole crew. Marlene Thomas, how are you doing? Debbie Collins, how are you? The whole crew. Look at this. The most corrupt man, the most corrupt individual in Guyana. You all know who that person is, right? Good night to Wayne Caesar. Good night to all of you. Wayne is the operator tonight, guys. So y'all be careful. Wayne Caesar is the operator. But look, getting back to this Paku Jack deal. They don't want to tell you. He doesn't want an investigation in all of these things. He doesn't. So at his last so-called press conference, he gave the impression as though there was an investigation and they checked bank accounts that he supposedly has in outside of Guyana, and there was nothing. Not true. Not true. Let him tell that to law enforcement officers outside of Guyana who, according to information, found a bank account belonging to Jack Dio. A bank account that belongs to Barra Jack Dio in, that's according to information, in China. And so if he has a bank account in China with hundreds of millions of US dollars, hundreds of millions of US dollars, why do you suppose a lot of these contracts, billions and billions of dollars contracts, are going to Chinese companies or Chinese businessmen? Why do you think that? There is this connection. And don't allow Barra Jagdev to fool you guys about anything. Absolutely nothing. He is a scamp. And he is a liar. Every single thing he lies about. He even lied. Listen to this other thing this vagabond lied about. Thank you so much, Wayne. Wayne is our operator. Let me tell you guys this other thing that he lied about. And sometimes when people lie, I don't wish people bad. But sometimes when they lie, here this guy sat at his press conference, so-called press conference. And because his bumps raised, because he's been cornered, they're riggers. That is what they are. They're riggers. They're vagabonds. They're scamps. They're thieves. Here why his bumps raised. When his bumps raised, he said that Benchap used to send him messages and begging him for pardon. Come on, guys. How many of you guys believe that? His back is against the wall like a wet pussycat. And so because his back is against the wall, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? He doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know what to lash back. He wants to lash back, but he doesn't know how to, and all manner of things. Oh, Benchap used to write to me and beg. Really? Me? Him? That vagabond? You guys might as well call Basil Williams. Basil Williams and the then leader of the opposition. Go. Look, the Pacus coming in. Oh, Jack Dale said Jack Dale is a notorious liar and a scamp. That is what he is. And because his back is against the wall, right? His back is against the wall. I don't know for what reason it should, right? His back is against the wall. That is what he does. The only person that I know that is crying right now is Barra Jack Dale. When they pulled him in for fitness for a secondary search, he was vexed. He was crying like a baby when immigration authority pulled him over and searched his bag. He was crying like a baby. And right now, because of the sanctions, he cannot sleep. He probably has all sorts of things happening to his stomach that he has to rush to the toilet every 30 seconds, every 30 minutes. Who is doing the crying now, guys? Who is doing the crying now? Not me. In fact, when Robert Corbyn, the then leader of the opposition, and I've said this story so many times, but the trench crappers and them they don't understand the trench crappers and them. So many times I've said this story. So many times. The trench crappers are out, but you know what we usually do with them? Thank you so much, Wayne. The trench crappers are out. We don't give them no airtime here. We don't give the trench crappers. So here what happened. Because his back is against the wall, he wants to make it look as though he is some sort of God. 5 years in solitary confinement. 5 years. Don't give a damn about Barra Jack there. Feeling stronger and stronger. Never once scared about him. Never once wrote him. If that is the case, then where are the letters? If that is the case, who in solitary confinement that I can send, or anybody to send a message to him? Why would I want to send a message to a vagabond who has persecuted me for 5+ years? In fact, before, just one more minute on this matter, y'all call up Basil Williams or Robert Corbyn and ask them. A few days before this so-called pardon, and I spoke this story before already. Oh man, Jack didn't get no shame. A few days before all this jiggery-pokery thing happened by a man who unjustly incarcerated someone for 5+ years in solitary confinement, could find it at a so-called press conference to laugh. There's something called karma. But a few days before that happened, let me tell you guys, Robert Corbyn and Basil Williams came to visit me at Camp Street. As soon as they got there, guess what? They said that Jack Dale said, and now we can confirm everything, but it makes no sense. Somebody like Jack Dale, a notorious liar and a criminal like Barra Jack Dale, a racist like Barra Jack Dale. So these sort of things, they're accustomed lying. So anyways, after Robert Corbyn and Basil Williams walked in, and they said that they spoke with Barra Jack Dale, and that Jack Dale said that in order for me, and I want you guys to understand, And if there's a lie detector test right now, let Jack Dale take that because he's a lying scum. Now, what I said to both Basil Williams and Robert Corbin when they said that Jack Dale wants me to write a letter to apologize to him, you know what I said? I sucked my teeth and I almost cursed at Robert Corbin and Basil Williams. And I walked out of that room at that little room or office at Camp Street. And I said to them, y'all dare not write Barra Jack Dale about anything. You will not write him to apologize for nothing because I did nothing wrong and there will be no apologies. None whatsoever. I said, if you guys are going to write to Barra Jack Dale, you tell him that he has persecuted me for many years and that he has prevented me from getting a fair trial. And that is what I want. Simple as that. I left that meeting with Robert Corbin and Basil Williams and went back into solitary confinement. So those of you, y'all don't worry with that jagabat, that lying scum, Barra Jack Dale. He's saying it because his back is against the wall, right? And so a couple of days after, not so long after, and that is correct, I wasn't sure why Basil Williams or Robert Corbin, who was the opposition leader, to come and ask me such a thing. I said, no, I prefer to die in prison with my dignity than to bow to a scum like Barra Jack Dale. So a couple of days after, then is when all of the senior officers, or most of the senior officers, came by my cell in the strong cell division and say, bench up. They were all happy. Pack up. It's time to go. You have been pardoned. It took about 20 minutes before I left because, and I'm just going to say this again before I prepare to wrap up. Before that 20 minutes, I said, I am not accepting any pardon. I'm not accepting any pardon. And those of you who know me know I'm that type of a person, right? I don't bow to no oppressors. I'm not accepting any pardon. The officers, and many of them still around, begged and begged and begged and begged. Oh, man, you've been here long enough. Accept it, no, man. They begged, and by that time, the entire prison was in an uproar. People were hitting, all the prisoners were hitting the ceiling and the zinc sheets and all manner of things. They were singing, they were chanting, they were all happy. And as a result of that, I said there is work outside to be done. And at that time, my son was about to hit common entrance class. And I've made that decision. That's it. That's what. So you listen to a scum like Barra Jack Dale. He used to send message to me. How that message? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Message? And that right after I came out, right back in his face again, confronting a corrupt, a racist PPP regime. Right back in his face again. I didn't take a break. There was no time off. Right back again, confronting them. And you know what? You know what? Barra Jack Dale offered to give the Ben Shop Foundation $20 million, according to someone who's close to Barra Jack Dale. And they said that he didn't know how to approach to do it. I said, no, there shouldn't be any approach to do it because I do not want a cent from that vagabond. And that's it. That's the truth. So if he wants the truth to be told, ask him about that $20 million. Ask him about that $20 million. You can't buy me, Barrett. And you can't bluff me, Barrett. Y'all rigged the elections, and that's a fact. Y'all rigged the elections. And some of the trench crappos, they ain't going to understand all of that. But let's get back to the elections and why the elections were rigged by the PPP regime and why they continue to persecute these three persons and others. They continue to persecute these people in order to make it appear that the elections were tampered with and rigged by members of the GCOM and also members of the opposition. That is what the opposition now, that is what they want people to believe. Again, why do you think that the PPP doesn't want, and they fought tooth and nail for the elections petitions not to be heard? Every single time, elections petitions not to be heard. And so the more they keep these people from getting a fair trial, and they continue to persecute these people, they will let their supporters think that the elections were actually rigged or attempted to be rigged by the opposition. There is no evidence to substantiate that point. And it's a shame and a disgrace. Shame and a disgrace that they continue to persecute these people and others. No evidence against them, depriving these people from working to make a living for themselves and their families. Shame on those vagabonds in the PPP. Why do you suppose also they are no longer talking? They're no longer talking about SOPs. Because the SOPs for them was the boogeyman. They feel that if they talk about the SOPs, people will think that, oh yeah, they did something to the elections. There is no SOPs, guys. There is no SOPs that could prove that the coalition rigged any elections. If they had opened all of the SOPs, the evidence is there that the PPP rigged the elections, and in rigging the elections, the rigging that they did, they were supported by international forces for a regime change. And so they start to ball corruption on the part of the coalition, the poor coalition. Some of them didn't even realize what was going on. And so today, 4+ years after, these folks continue to suffer. They continue to be persecuted by a corrupt, vicious, racist PPP regime. So don't worry with that guy. Don't worry with those criminals in the PPP. One by one, Uncle Sam will get them at some point, at some time. One by one, Uncle Sam will get them. Don't you think Uncle Sam got sufficient information on them already? Don't you think Uncle Sam, when they scan a certain permanent secretary phone, don't you think they got all of the information already? Don't you think they may have gotten information from other sources, other persons who are close and know about the corruption? Don't you think they get a ton of evidence on Bara Jagdeo, on Irfan Ali? Why do you suppose that Irfan Ali, his visa was clipped? He was prevented from entering Canada. It is because at that time he was under active investigation. It had nothing to do with the 19 fraud charges or so forth. He was under investigations allegedly for money laundering with a group, alongside a group of corrupt businessmen in Canada, Guyanese businessmen, who are currently, some of them are currently doing business in Guyana. And that is why they're not going to come and tell you these sort of things. They want you to believe that they're all holy and they're nice people and they mean well for the country. No, they are corrupt. They are a corrupt bunch of hooligans who are in office masquerading as patriots. They're not. Take a look at this again. Irfan Ali hasn't answered as to who donated this vehicle or vehicles for him when he was quote unquote sworn in. Take a look.
At this role as president as the days go ahead. So that's Dr. Ali leaving the Artichon Conference Center in the vehicle that he's been driving around with for the longest while. A presidential vehicle did come here, but Dr. Ali is not using that vehicle. He's moving off with the vehicle that he has been in. Didn't even have time to get a proper sheen on that.
All right. So let us the allegations are that this guy that was sanctioned recently, the Mohammeds, that they gave Irfan Ali those vehicles. I'm sure that the feds have a list of information of what they received from the Mohammeds and the bribery and all these things. You're telling me that Irfan Ali's name is not listed there? You're telling me that Jagdeo name is not listed there? You're telling me that other senior functionaries of the Guyana police force and the PPP regime, their names are not there? You're telling me that as a result of the Mohammeds and the permanent secretary, May Toussaint, who have been sanctioned, that some of these guys in the PPP have not had their visas revoked? Come on. Come on. And that is not the end of the investigations, mind you. It is certainly not the end. It is the beginning of something bigger to come across the board. And watch out. If you guys want to go to the airport, check how many so-called businessmen in Guyana are traveling. Check how many of them are traveling. You won't find a lot. A lot of them are afraid to travel. Recently, the undersecretary was in Guyana, Bonnie. She was in Guyana to talk about illegal armed trades and all these different things, right? They are aware, and this is my opinion, mind you, they are aware that Irfan Ali's government, so-called government, they have PPP supporters who are importing guns into Guyana, guns and ammunition. Check out who are the ones that have the gun licenses to import guns and ammunitions into Guyana. Find out who they are, find out who they're connected to, and also you will find out that the US has blocked those armed dealers from shipping guns and ammunitions to Guyana. Find out. Some of them, when they travel to the US, they are stopped and they are checked and they are questioned and they're properly searched and so forth. They're not going to tell you guys that. So the undersecretary didn't just pop into Guyana to talk about illegal arms trading and guns and stuff. And they know, because that is also part, I assume, or could possibly be in the very near future, investigations that you will hear that those who have been importing guns to Guyana on behalf of the government are themselves could possibly be under investigations. And some of them, one went to Florida the other day, the other one went to Florida. Both of them are usually pulled over for secondary questioning. They know who they are. Maybe they should tell you guys why they are pulled over for fitness, so to speak. Speaking of this here now, have you heard anything from Mark Phillips, the one who sits there as the so-called prime minister? 25 million US dollars. I want you guys to ask him about this. 25 million US dollars. The GDF allegedly paid to a guy named Larry Singh for arms and ammunition never received while this guy was chief of staff. If these allegations are true, then Mark Phillips should answer. If the allegations are false, then Mark Phillips should answer. The fact that Mark Phillips is not saying anything at all means that there is a high possibility that the allegations are true. 25 million US dollars. And the question is, who are the arms dealer? Who are those armed dealers? Is it Larry Singh still? Is it the guy that took Kadaki Amsterdam to court? Who are the armed dealers? Check out and find out who they are connected to. And the other thing, are they, because according to information, they cannot import guns to Guyana from the US. So they might be getting it from China or somewhere in the Middle East, and it has to go through Brazil. Find out Find out what's happening, and you'll understand what the PPP is doing to that country. Now, the other thing concerning the Mohammeds, if their gold license was revoked, or the Cambio dealership was also license was revoked, then what's going to happen with the security firms that they have and all of the guns that they were issued licenses according to the investigation by May Tozat and the PPP, Irfan Ali and others? What is going to happen with their gun licenses? We're not hearing that the Mohammeds have had their gun licenses revoked, or security firms and all. It has to be revoked. Let us wait to hear from Irfan Ali whether that has happened already. But it has to happen. We need to hear that it has happened. But we're not hearing anything. Nothing at all. The other thing, according to information, well, if according to the sanction and the report that the Mohammeds, according to the report, that is, corrupt the highest level of government. Highest, you know what that means. And agencies in order to interfere with investigations and prosecutions and all these things. Now, when they mention that part of the report, the first person that comes to mind is the DPP. The DPP is connected to the Mohammeds. The DPP's husband is connected to the Mohammeds. The DPP husband is the head of the the Ethnic Relations Commission. He is the head of the Ethnic Relations Commission. He needs to say what's his relationship with the Mohammeds. What's the CIOG's relationship with the Mohammeds? The CIOG is the Central Islamic Organization. Now the DPP now has to say what is her relationship with the Mohammeds and whether she has caused the Mohammeds not to be prosecuted. Because the report is out there. Now, I'm not saying that her name is in the report. I'm not saying that. But there's a high possibility. There's a high possibility. And if her name is in the report, it is sufficient reason for her to be removed as the Director of Public Prosecutor. It is sufficient grounds for her to be removed as the DPP. And the opposition should find a way to get this sort of information, but the opposition too busy bear cough early morning. By the time you wake up, is lash, blows, highs down, lash down, pick up, highs down, lash down. All day they're fighting themselves. All day they must fight themselves. All day. And by the time they're ready to turn to fight the PPP, they're tired. Right, Chandel Griffith? Right, Mushi, Ching Chong, Ching Man? Or well done and all. They're tired. They ain't get no energy to fight the real enemy. Sorry, they don't have sufficient energy to fight the real enemies. Elections are around the corner, though. The opposition got to get their act together. Even if they got to get a consensus candidate, whatever, they got to get their act together. Things ain't looking nice. That's all I wish to say. So some of y'all could cuss up, lash down, pick up. That's not the kind of politics. Cuss up, lash down, pick up, don't win votes. They don't influence nobody. And it can't ever influence nobody or bluff anybody. They pick up, lash down, pick up, lash down, lash. It's stupidity. That is what it's called. And you can never gain any friends or supporters like that. Never. Trench politics days are over. You got to get sense. Political smartness. That is what you have to get. Right, Miss Booker? All right, guys. Here's where I am going to go for now. And let me just remind you guys that the only person that I know, two persons cried. Jagdeer cried at the airport. That is why he doesn't want to come back to the U.S. because according to information, every time he comes to the U.S., they stop him, they search him, and all sorts of things. I don't know if he's carrying anything in his pouch. You gotta be either from Camp Street or Lusignan or Timeri or Mazaruni to know what pouch is. But he doesn't like to be searched. He cries like a baby. He trembles. The last time he passed through the airport, he trembled like a baby. Somebody said he probably pee his pants and all sort of things. What manner of slackness is that? Somebody like Jack Deo likes to pretend as though he's powerful and he's this, revealing himself at Miami International Airport. What kind of thing is this? The officers said they were embarrassed. All they wanted to do was to question him, and he already pee up himself. Just imagine if he's locked up for 5 years, what's going to happen to him? Just imagine. But then again, he might like that, like Boba and all of them. But it's a shame. Jagde must tell you guys how he pee up himself at Miami International Airport. And God in heaven knows what else happened to him. Cry like a baby. Cry like a baby. Cry like a baby. Just imagine he sits at this press conference pretending as though he's a tough guy, and he cried like a baby. Pee up himself and cried like a baby. Oh, shame on that crybaby Jack Dale. Pee man. I'm out of here. Let him come to the US again. He wouldn't do that, right? No, he wouldn't. I'm out of here, guys. God bless you. And the other person that cried like a baby at Brigham lockups is Freddie Kisson. He cried like a baby, and I saved him. But nobody could save Jack Dale when they pick him up, hopefully soon. Out of here, guys. See y'all later. Tata. Thank you all.
Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Aye, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North.